What's up, everybody? I am Lamar Anderson. I want to welcome you all to another episode of Think About It.
Think about it, Black people.
This is a format that we created where we just actually, are trying to put our people in our community up on things that they need to know about. There's a lot of conversations that happen, and unfortunately, you may not be the expert about it. So what we want to always do is we want to bring on experts to talk about a variety of different things. You all have also probably noticed we're rocking our pink. This is very intentional. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, very, very intentional. We want to make sure that everyone out there is getting checked. Early detection is one of the keys to bringing those numbers down. So definitely want to make sure people out there be getting checked. All right, so with that being said, like I said, I'm Lamar Anderson. It's time for me to introduce my amazing team. First up, let's go to the queen. Queen, Shell, what's up? Say what's up to the people.
Yes, we're back in the house on a Sunday. I'm glad to be here. I love all of my peeps. My special guest, our special guest is amazing. And we're just ready for this and ready to hear what it is that she has to offer to us and all of our people.
Thank you, Shell. All right, let me go to my king. What's up, Runt? Holla at him, man.
What's happening, people? How you doing, everybody? It's me, Ruddy, running the place to be. We got the special girl, Janice, on the MIC. What's happening?
You know what time it is. Rhyming in the whole nine. Y'all know what time it is. But hold on, let me get the people who view this a little bit background before I introduce our special guest. We all warriors, right?
Woodrow.
Yes, Woodrow.
Warriors, baby. So, my girl, Erica is not here. She's a warrior as well. So definitely want to make sure we show love to her. She would be on here as well, but she's not here. But we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. And the reason we brought this special guest on, and I said this before, I think this special guest needs her own theme song for the love of money, money talks. I don't know, something about money, because she know how to find the bag.
Dead presidents or something. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
All about the Benjamins, baby.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. That's the hip hop coming out of me. But yeah, so she needs her own theme music, and I definitely want to welcome our special guest to our show. Think About the Black people, none other than Miss Janice Parker, y'all. Let's give it up for her.
Yes.
Hey to my kings and my queen and my Woodrow warriors.
Yes.
They don't know. They don't know.
So much. Thank y'all so much for having me. I feel honored to be here to share today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So before we go ahead and get started with everything, I want to give our viewers a little bit of background about yourself. So if you could, please kind of tell us about, your journey in regards to financial literacy and credit recovery and all the different things that you do, because you wear a lot of hats, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So could you just give them a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. I am, for those who don't know me, I'm Janice Parker. I am the CEO and founder of JP Credit Education and Consulting, LLC. I have been in the finance, credit, housing industry for about a little bit more than 2 decades. I started out working as an operations manager for a nonprofit credit counseling, HUD-approved housing counseling agency. As an operations manager, moved my way through to executive director. We were then acquired by a national organization where I served as Illinois Relationships Manager. Through that time, I became a financial educator, a counselor, and recently a credit consultant when I launched my own business in 2017. And why did I do that? Because I wanted 2 things. I wanted to teach financial education and to help people who look like me, because the organization that I served, although they were a great company serving many people, I didn't feel that they had the adequate tools to serve my community at the needs where they were. And so also, because I am a believer, I love to teach financial education with biblical principles. So this platform allows me to do that as well. So here I am doing it.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes, awesome.
First and foremost, definitely want to thank you for stepping out on faith, starting your own. And that's one thing that we're consistently trying to do with this particular platform is supporting our own and giving them an opportunity to talk about the different things that they're doing. So our first question that we have for you, why do you think it is so important for our community to have this conversation about financial literacy and things like that? And where did that come from for you?
Yeah, so I was raised in a household that did not talk about finances. I saw things getting done. I knew things were getting done, but I wasn't told how. So I wasn't taught how to manage a checking account, open credit cards, buy a home, read credit card statements, save money, none of those things. Actually, I am the youngest of 5. And if you hear my siblings talk about our life, they say we were poor. That's you too. Yeah, we take on a lot. There's special, God give us special power, the youngest in the family. Not to y'all, if Michelle and Sean, if y'all not. But anyway, so when I grew up, my parents was from a mindset that they struggled for so long, they wanted life to be better for me than they did for their previous children. Not that they didn't, they just didn't have it. So I grew up with, a lot of flexibility. I could do what I wanted to do with my money. I just had no financial responsibilities. I didn't even have to put gas in my car, pay a car note, buy my own food, buy my own clothes, none of those things. So as a result, I grew up thinking that what was mine, and there was no responsibility. So until my young adulthood, I realized the world don't work like that. People want to get paid, and if you take out a commitment of lines of credit and things like that, people are expecting payment. So I ruined my own self. And that was really the drive for me too. When I was in my late 20s, I met a guy who had his stuff together. I'm like, I gotta get my stuff together. And I wanted more. I wanted more for my children. So it pushed me to not only correct myself, but to find platforms that would help people discover what I discovered, that finances are extremely important and that they're the foundation to your financial well-being. Yep.
Go ahead, Shell.
Yeah, and with that being said, so we do all come from different backgrounds, whether it's a single family home, having children out of wedlock and things like that. And we are not taught the importance of financial freedom. So with that being said, how can we take our first steps in regards, because it's never too late if you still got breath, of course.
That is correct. You're right. So no matter where you are financially today, you don't always have to be there. So even if you're doing great, you can still do better. So the first step is we got to take it back. Y'all, what did we learn about finances at Woodruff? Not to knock Woodruff, but financial education was not, I did home. You did, Sean?
No, he did not. And this is not stand-up comedy up in here. We will not be having stand-up comedians coming up in here telling jokes. No, we did not.
You have to remember, guys, hold on. I spent my first 2 years at Manual. We had an economic class.
Yes. That we did. Yes. Yes.
So they did teach me, and we had I think it was a bookkeeping class as well. So that's where I learned some of my finance, but I didn't.
But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Econ was not like that.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about econ is not like Black household. I just want to clear
exactly.
That's what I think. Janice is.
I learned about
Black household and econ, two different things.
Yeah. But one thing I can say, boy, a lot of kids didn't grow up with a two-member family household. So I was fortunate to have that, to where my father, he did teach me some of the in-depths of getting in the stocks and saving your money, pay your own car note, fend for yourself, because he knew in the future he may not have that enough money to be able to pay to bury him and to leave for us, because he was paying for a home, he was paying a car note and things of that stuff, and insurance for all 5 of us as kids. So he had that whole burden on him, and plus my mom was sickly, so she wasn't able to work to help with the finances. So that's what I was saying. I took what I learned in econ class and what my father instilled in me and took that to another level, and plus learned from other people outside, the Black community, who taught me a lot of things about saving your money, start a Roth account, put your money in a savings and let it stack and don't touch it, or take 20% of your finances and put it away and save for it. What my mom used to say, save for a rainy day. So those are the things I was taught, and then I passed it on to my kids. But a lot of people of the other color, the things I learned from, they like, I'm not leaving my kids anything. What I do is I teach them how to save their money, spend their money, and look out for their money, so I won't have to leave them no money. You know, I'm like, how does that work? How does that work? You know, but us as Blacks, we were taught differently or weren't taught the right way.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. And you're right. We did have econ in class, but it is completely different. Like, it did not go over the, you know, how to manage money to the degree of, you know, being personal, running a household, signing financial agreements and loans and the repercussions of those kind of things. And, you know, those who have purchased a home, there's a million pieces of paper that you sign.
Man.
And nobody told you what none of those things are. So we do need those people like your father as a positive mentor. And it doesn't happen. Sometimes a parent is not able to do it, not because they don't want to, they just don't know. It wasn't taught to them. So taking the necessary steps to educate ourselves so that we can educate our children so that they can then pass it on to other generations. Like Sean alluded to, most families in our community, when they pass away, they're passing on debt. You know, the funeral, the average funeral cost is more than $10,000, between $8,000 to $10,000. So if you didn't properly prepare for that, where's that money coming from? Your family who love you, who want to see you buried right. So they just taking on debt. I've seen families take on debt of a funeral expense that has then bankrupted them. And this was months later. They just never caught up. But we see it important. So I tell people, if you love your family like you say you do, then take care of your business so that your family can live happily after you're after. So we just got to take the time, find positive mentors. Here's another thing. In our community, we have all these programs for our youth that, you know, whether it's sports, basketball, STEM, all that. Every chance we get, we need to incorporate financial literacy into those pieces so that these young adults know. I did a financial education workshop for District 150 public schools for their youth and employment program. And one of the hot things these were, you know, most of them were like junior seniors, you know, they're looking to buy their next car. Do you think that they want a used car, that they want a car that, you know, family member hand them down? No, they work to get the kind of car that they want, and then never realizing that, you know, you've already just put yourself in a very hardship way in the event that, you know, life should change. And we know life happens at the snap of a finger. So just educating our youth on better management of their money.
And another thing on that also is you got to understand, once you get into college, or if you're fortunate enough to get into college, what do the banks do? They extend those credit cards to you. Now you're going back in debt.
They're done that.
Well, you don't know the nightmares I had.
No, we all can share them nightmares. You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all this quick story. When I first went to college, it was Mid-State here in Peoria. Mid-State College, when it was downtown, across from the Civic Center. Me and one of my good friends felt that, because then if you were a college student, they kind of automatically give you a credit card. And then if you had a major Visa or MasterCard, you could go to department stores. So I remember going to like Famous Bar and Bergner's and stuff like that. All you had to do is show your MasterCard. So we took it on as a game to see who could get the most credit cards. And when they start coming in, I was working part-time by that time. They started coming in like $15 here, $15. I'm like, oh, that's nothing. Man, when 16 of them came in, I'm like, yep, forget it. And that was my mindset. Like, I'm not paying them. When they would call and be collecting on me, I'm embarrassed to say, but y'all, it's the truth. I was just like, well, you shouldn't have gave it to me. Well, you know, what you want me to do?
Right.
And they start calling back home to my mom them and saying that, you know, leaving messages that man, when my dad got wind of that, it was like, you need to take care of that. You need to take care of that now. And I still, even after getting help to get out of all of that, I went back into it on my own again. So credit card debt,
repeated cycles.
Credit card debt can easily trap you up. I try to tell my kids when I was working 20 years ago, like the most horrifying stories about people credit and stuff like that, hoping that they don't walk into the same experience I did.
So y'all see, she almost told her age just a little bit because she said Famous Bar. I ain't gonna touch that part. That might have went over a few people's head. I'm gonna leave that part. I know we all within the same area, but
that's all right.
But could you also do us a favor and kind of explain, because I know we want to make sure our viewers leave with some very tangible things. Check 1, check 2, check 3 things that they can take with them of what they can be doing right now to either kind of repair some of those things that you're talking about, or put themselves in a better situation that they can possibly do some of those investments and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'm going to say is, for those who are tuning in, you've done step one. You are educating yourself. You're looking for sources outside of yourself to listen in and educate. So education, education, education. Educate yourself, educate your children about the wise use of money management. The second thing, and while I'm there, let me just say, we hope that our kids go off and live a great life and be able to be well able to take care of themselves. Why? Because life turns around. At some point, them same kids we took care of, we must be in a good financial state, because they're gonna be taking care of us. So yes. I tell parents who you are ready, like you 18, get out, kick them out. Wait a minute, back it up. Let's make sure that they can really do this thing out there before we set them up, because it eventually will come back. They either back on our couch or you at their house on their couch with their friends, because it ain't really their house, So we gotta educate. Secondly, know your numbers. Know your numbers financially. Know what your liabilities are. Know what kind of assets you got. Know your net worth. Know your credit scores. Know what it takes to run your household. That's the most important number to start off. I think people should know. I should be able to ask anybody, what does it take to run your household? I don't mean an average. I mean down to the dollar. What does it take? Why do you need to know that? Because life happened and we're in a pandemic. And if God forbid that our income was taken away, we need to know immediately. When we go for an interview, I need to make XYZ because this is what it takes to run my household. So you use that number to then start setting goals and to maintain other financial freedom in areas in your life where you might want to become debt free or what have you. So know your numbers. They are extremely important, and never stop learning. Never. I don't care how well off you think you are. Education, finances change. Look at where we are now. Change. Credit report scores. I mean, y'all probably don't even realize you have nearly 100 credit scores out there on you. Do you know what they are? Probably not. But so never stop learning. Go ahead, Michelle. You had a question?
Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah. And I just wanted to throw out this stat. According to the Washington Post, June 4th, 2020, Black and white economics hasn't changed much since it's still very divided and it's wide since 1968. So over 70 years now, there has been no change in regards to our economic stability, freedom in the Black colored community. Again, what do we need to do? What are we going to do to change this? Because I think first we need to change mentally and be willing, as you said, to accept someone to answer our questions and be okay with asking questions. Yeah. So what do we do? And then, like you said, with this pandemic right now, we don't have a reserve, for the next 2, 3, 4 months. Then what do you do?
Yeah. So the thing about your first question was, what do we do about this gap? We're gonna be in a gap for a long time, y'all. It's a lot of catching up to do. Some of that is on us, but not all of that is on us, right?
Exactly.
So beginning to change, number one, your mindset. How do you think about money? How you spend money? How you deal with things? I'll give this example. If all of us on here wanted to start, to grow the Black economy, and we just said, let's all, come up with a business, right? So we're gonna do a business. The first thing we got to do is what? Learn to trust each other.
Yeah.
Which is difficult. I'm just going to say it. There are some in other communities, they don't even like each other. But you're talking about putting a business deal together, I will be there and I'll do my part. We don't even got to speak again. And it's done. They get paid out their money it going on to the next building. We got to come to a place where we're able to trust each other and we're able to speak up about where we are. When we are really hurting financially, you got to find somebody that you can trust. Look at somebody who may be doing better than you, and don't stay in your stuck place forever because you're ashamed. The enemy would love to have people get you right there in that mindset that you can't do this. The doubt, the fear of even opening businesses, things like that will have you stuck forever. So we got to get past that. Education and trusting each other and doing it. I think I may have said, when I took the leap of faith, or maybe I didn't, when I took the leap of faith to launch my own business, I can't even tell you the reality of how much fear was there. I probably was ready to launch, saying that for months before I actually did it, because it felt good to get a paycheck. a consistent paycheck, to have benefits and all those kind of things and the luxuries that came with that job. But it was not God's purpose. So when he told me to move, I had to move. Either you move or you get moved out the way. So all the things I felt like I didn't have, that I, oh, I lack this, I lack that, or whatever. Man, God has provided. I am standing here today as a business owner telling you that I had to close my books early this year because that's the amount of business that I got. So trust the process, trust God, do your own homework, and you can make it happen.
Yes, yes.
Wait, Sean.
Let me ask you this, Janice. How long did it take you to call yourself a successful business once you launched it? How long did it take?
So I launched November of 2017. According to my financial records, in my heart, I felt like I was success because God told me to, and the way it was lined up. So immediately I felt like I was a success.
Yes.
But to stay financially on record, I would say it took me probably 18 months to actually see a profit in my business.
Okay.
And this year I will triple. So what I did the first few years. So
can I say that part? I don't mean to interrupt. But
thank you.
That part. Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me say this too. A lot of us think that, we send our kids off to college and that's what they, we hope that their mind is made up and they're going the path that they want to go. But even through that, with a college degree, there are many people that have aspirations and dreams to do other things.
Exactly.
Other things that they want to do personally or that are God-led for their purpose. And maybe that career is aligning them, as an interest to that.
That is me.
To take the leap of faith requires you to not only have the right mindset, to be mindful about businesses, but your personal finances got to be right. I oftentimes see people. I'm starting a cohort of building business credit for some entrepreneurs that I'm working with, so that I can they can give their testimonies for the beginning of the year. But one of the reason I designed that is because I see too many business owners establishing their business solely off of their own finances. Let me back that up. I'm not talking about the ones they saved or that has a label that says my business. I'm talking about from their account that they pay their other bills and stuff like that. So they have put themselves in a financial strain just starting out the gate. So properly preparing yourself financially requires you to be good so that you don't have to manage your business and your household all out of one bucket, because that's not the will of God.
Right.
Come on.
Now, can you explain how that would work? So say, like, I know as far as I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. So a lot of people will go into the business, like you said, using their own finances, and then that makes you a sole proprietor. And when you do that, you're at the leisure of being sued, and everything is taken from you. And that's also your personal money out of your bank, because where's that money? Where's the money that you're going to cover the lawsuits with? So it's important for a lot of people to start it off as a sole proprietor, but have a budget put to the side for that. So in case anything, and separate your personal account from your business account. Yeah. So what I would ask you, since you're saying you're building up business credit, how would they go about doing that, building that business credit and turning it in from a sole proprietor business into an LLC?
Okay, sure. So bootstrapping, I'm not against, because that's a part of way of doing business, funding your own business, and you should put some of your own equity into it. The first thing you need to do is establish a business properly. So a lot of people say, yeah, I got a business, and you just off and running and you're not established properly. So that is the foundation, establishing whatever you become, sole proprietor, LLC, corporation, S Corp, any of that. Seek the advice of a tax consultant to find out what works best for you, and then establish your business as such. The reason that I'm big on, people say, well, credit just puts people into debt. Do you know how the rest of America runs their business? Off of credit. They're not getting the money from, out of their accounts. They're floating with credit. And based on the income that comes in, they're paying that debt back. It allows you greater flexibility and ability to scale your business. So I would say, structure your question, Sean, structure your business properly. And definitely a business account should be separate from your personal account, right? All that money that comes to the business, just because you're short on bills over here does not mean that money go there. And so that, so then then start seeking, how do you build business credit? And I the way that I teach on building business credit, it is not tied to your social security number, because that is not business credit. That is credit, your credit.
That's the number one thing a lot of people make mistakes on.
Yep.
Because that's when they can, Uncle Sam be like, come on with it.
Yep. So establishing business under your own EIN number so that you can have the flexibility to grow and scale your business as you need to. It's already, you already know, I gotta tell you the history, how sometimes, you know, we're treated in the lending industry. So, you know, when you work it on your own, prove your business to be that reputable business that a business owner can't, I mean, a lending institution can't deny you. It's already here. I'm there. You know what I'm saying?
As you can see, I'm sorry, Rut, but one thing I wanted to make sure, as you can see, she's wearing all these different hats. One thing I wanted to make sure is that, I know she said she closed her books for, you know, and that's a blessing. She had the opportunity to close in her books for 2021. But I wanted you to also have an opportunity to talk to people about some other things that you're doing within the community that can kind of help those people who may not get an opportunity to have that one-on-one with you this year.
Sure. One of the main reasons why I closed my business, my one-on-one business for the rest of this year, is because I was blessed to be able to partner with many organizations, corporations, nonprofits for business to business. So through that, I'm providing financial education to their audiences, but they've been gracious enough to allow me to invite my audience in for the teaching as well. So I say, even though my book is closed to do one-on-ones with you, number one, I am available to answer questions. I would rather you ask me a question, you know, you overcome your pride, ask me a question before your situation becomes detriment. Again, you know, so I'm always there for that. You can always call me 550-5744. You can look me up online, jpcreditconsulting.com. And right now I'm doing a partnership with St. Paul Church here in Peoria. And it's a monthly financial education that I'm providing through a webinar, and you can join in, participate, sign up to come and learn. Learning should never be a stopping point. I don't care if you're at an 850, you should continue to 850 credit score. You should continue to value the learning of financial education. So I'm there. If you see me in the community, I try to promote things that, you know, that the businesses allow me to invite you to. Come and learn and see if there's something that, I promise you, 9 times out of 10, there's something you'll walk away with that you didn't know before you came. So yeah.
And also, I want to give you an opportunity to share with our viewers all the other many hats that you wear. So you're author of like 2 different books. You know, I know breast cancer awareness is near and dear to your heart. So if you want to talk about that for a little bit and some of the other things that you're involved with as well.
Sure, absolutely. So in a few short weeks or days, I will be an 8-year breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
Praise God. So,
Yes,
I was diagnosed in 2012 with breast cancer. And so from that, I took I have a family history. My mother died of breast cancer, and so did her sister, my aunt. And so I use this platform because when my parents, when my mother and my aunt was diagnosed, they didn't talk about it. We came from the thing of what goes on in your house stays in your house. So when I thought that I got diagnosed, I thought I knew everything about cancer. And I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. So I decided to use my platform, whichever one God allows for me to do. And thank you for this platform, because I didn't think I'd have the opportunity to do this, but to make minority women aware. We are not diagnosed as fast as often as our white counterparts, but we die faster. And why is that? Is because we don't take the prevention care. We don't do breast exams. We don't do self-exams. Your mammogram, all that stuff, that preventive stuff is necessary. It is, I was saved by a mammogram. I wasn't saved by an exam. A mammogram saved my life. So, well, God saved my life, but the mammogram was the tool that he used to do that. So yes. It's important to get educated. So again, using my own platform to tell my story and my testimony of healing, of how God healed me. I also, through a group with Susan G. Komen, I'm a part of, it's called Circle of Promise. And we do an annual event that's happens, that it's a breakfast and it's very low cost, free to survivors. but that group is called Circle of Promise. And we got together, a group of 20 of us survivors, we call ourselves Pink Survivors. And we wrote a book about our story and, you know, our different journeys of surviving breast cancer. So this is great in the month of October for awareness, to share with someone as motivation and hope. Because when you go through, I'm telling you, the enemy plays tricks on your mind. You be wondering if you're gonna make it out or not. But you know, this is support both naturally.
Where can they get that book at? Where can they get the book at?
Coleman, they can get the book at Susan G. Coleman. All proceeds go to benefit breast cancer research, so it's not back to us. So this is a donation of us, you know, compiling our story. So so that I am grateful for, and I will continue to share my story and on every platform that I can about God's healing. The other thing is that I co-authored a book with my husband. We established a business called Together on Purpose for Purpose, and that's this book. So
you know, I love y'all. Y'all my favorite couple. I'm telling you.
Thank you. We love you too, Michelle. So my husband and I, Derek Parker, for those who don't know, we married young, we divorced, and then we remarried. And so this book is basically, it's called Together on Purpose, because who marries each other if you don't do it on purpose after you divorce, right? So Together on Purpose for Purpose, and that purpose is to glorify God and to share our story about people making it out of situations like infidelity. And so infidelity is real, you know, cheating in relationships is real. So we just need to understand that there's a recovery to that if you choose to. So when we went through, we thought we were the only people going through this, even though there were lots of people around us. We didn't know until we wrote our story. And it was like, yeah, I've been through that before. I was like, yeah, so where were you when we were going through this? So, you know, to encourage us. So we thought it's very raw, it's very transparent, and it's very real. We said, if we're going to tell the story, we're going to tell the whole story.
Oh, yeah. So transparency.
This book can be bought at www.purposefulmarriages.com or on Amazon. So it could be in an ebook or a regular hardback book. So thank you for the opportunity to support those things.
Told you, wearing a whole lot of hats, y'all.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Wearing a whole lot of hats. I told y'all, a lot of hats. We really appreciate it.
If I can ask a question in regards to your surviving breast cancer and just, you know, how you were brought through, how did you make it through? I take care of patients after they come out of their surgery, and many of those patients are breast cancer survivors. And, you know, you go through this body image disturbance, and they do, of course, still want their breasts to look as normal as possible. So what brought you through, you know, your trying times?
Yeah, let me first of all say thank you, Michelle. Thank you to you and all the healthcare workers out there, because I'm telling you, when we get the diagnosis, whatever kind of diagnosis you get, you look to the healthcare field almost as they your gods, right? We depend on y'all. We depend on y'all knowledge. We depend on you to treat us with dignity, with respect, and all those things. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
But how did I overcome mine? My faith. Period. That is it. I had many, you know, daunting thoughts of whether I was going to survive this, thinking, you know, my mother died, my aunt died, like, you know, I'm going to die. At one point, I actually wrote my obituary, and my family didn't even know. I would wait at nights when my family was asleep to go in places to cry, because I just wanted them to see me as being strong, when actually, you know, they were what I needed to help me get through the journey. But ultimately, God told me, I was actually told in a church service one time, it was prophesied to me that what took Dolores out will never take you out. Dolores is my mama, and that man didn't know me from Adam. So I know that was my confirmation, even in my times of doubt, like, is this going to reoccur again? Am I going to have to go through this again? You know, God continues to send confirming words to me that you are healed. And I always say, my motto now is, I'm forever healed. People say, well, how can you be forever healed? Even when he takes me away, I'm healed.
That's right. Come on. Well, if I could just say, I have a pair of earrings that I want to give to you as soon as possible. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, these are for you.
Thank you. I wouldn't be mad if it came with a meal.
I got you, babe. That's my thing.
That's a sensitive subject around here. Don't be talking about the meals. They got to get all the households if we talking meals around here.
Mine's have been blessed by
drop-offs.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, we definitely want to, you know, take the time and thank you for, you know, the opportunity of talking to you about all of the many different things that you're doing. hopefully, you know, it's reached out to, you know, someone who is watching this and now they're thinking about some different things that they can be doing in terms of, you know, those financial literacy, you know, getting debt recovery, all of the above, breast cancer awareness, purposeful marriages, all of those things. So she won a lot of hats, y'all. I definitely want to thank her for coming on here. Let's give it up.
Thank you so much. I've been so blessed.
Also, Janice, go ahead and give your information again so they can so the listeners can get that. So where they can reach you.
Absolutely. So you can give me a call. 309-550-5744 is my business number. You can visit my website, jpcreditconsulting.com. There is a place, I will tell you again, the books are closed for one-on-ones, but if you are available to take part in a group, you know, educational format, just send me an email, let me know. Hey, coach, when is the next one? I want to be a part. I'm more than happy. You can also follow me on social media, both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have a lot of free educational information that I put out. So if you follow that, there's something there that will help you change your financial situation as well.
Put them in the game, coach. Put them in the game. I heard that. So with that being said, we always want you all to like, share this information that you see. We definitely want you to continue to look at this platform for great information and content, because that's what we're consistently trying to bring you here on Think About It Black People. With that being said, we out of here, y'all. Look at the time. Look at the time.
Thank you again, Queen, for coming on.
Another episode of Think About It Black People. Go ahead, hit me with that beat, Rut.
Wardrobe Warriors.
Yeah.